The thing that I enjoy most about walking is experiencing the wonderful countryside around us. I love being in the outside, I love hearing the birds and just the views, everything about it. I feel peaceful and relaxed, and it's good exercise.
The stillness and isolation of walking in the countryside is part of its allure. But for women, it can also instill a sense of vulnerability.
I fear being attacked. I guess it's as simple as that. And I don't feel like I'd be able to defend myself.
The murder of Sarah Everard triggered a national conversation around women's safety, not just reflecting on the physical attacks women face, but the insidious effect it has on how safe women feel.
If I see perhaps a man who's walking alone, either towards me or joins the path behind me, I just feel like I'm on edge. I'm not as relaxed, and I don't enjoy the walk as much on my own as I do when I'm in company.
Rebecca runs a walking group which allows her and others who feel the same anxieties to enjoy the countryside together.
I don't want women to feel that they shouldn't be accessing the outdoors. It's an amazing place and they should feel safe when they go outside.
The reason why women don't feel safe is because of stories like this one. Last June, on this country lane in the Scottish borders, a young woman was approached from behind by a man in a balaclava who hit her over 40 times with a hammer. She had simply taken her dogs for a walk and was only minutes from her home. The doctor said she was lucky not to be paralysed.
We spoke to that woman. She chose not to appear on camera, but told us that she now won't walk anywhere remote and suffers from PTSD and flashbacks. And that story isn't a one-off. Just a few weeks ago on this canal towpath in Hertfordshire, a woman was sexually assaulted in broad daylight.
Police say they are still investigating and that a man arrested for the attack is currently on bail. We came across many reports in local newspapers of lone women attacked in rural or remote areas, often of a sexual nature.
I never would have thought I would have been buying something like defence spray, but it's become a habit of taking it with me like I take my binoculars.
But even the experiences that don't involve a physical attack can leave an indelible mark.
It was a nice sunny evening like this, and I'd seen a little egret, which is a bird I see all the time. But they're hilarious with their funny little yellow feet, and it was flying past me, so I got it in my bins, and as I panned round, it flew out of shot and it just focused on this man, a man I'd never seen before, and basically, I won't go into detail, but he was indecently exposing himself to me and filming me at the same time.
Was he touching himself while you were...?
Yeah, and it was just right in front of me, and in that moment, it's obviously a shock. You know, I might not have perhaps been at physical threat of an attack, but it's just that effect it has on you. It's horrible. I wasn't going to say anything about it, but just with the wider conversation going on, I think it's just important to say, you know, it happens all the time. And this is something that's really affected me a lot more than I would have liked to have let it.
Knowing that so many women have got these stories of being approached sexually when they're out doing surveys, of feeling cornered in hides, even women who've been out birding with people they perceive to be friends, who then choose the most remote part of a nature reserve to decide to make a move on them. I think those kind of behaviours are things that really do need calling out. We get so much intrinsic enjoyment out of birding. Yes. And that is something that so many more women can benefit from. But to do that, we have to know that this is a safe space that they can feel welcome in.
The death of Sarah Everard has become a galvanising moment for women who want to feel safer in their communities. Like in Skegness, where a campaign to turn the streetlights back on in this small town has gathered momentum. Women of all ages there say the council's decision 4 years ago to throw many residential streets into pitch black by midnight has left them feeling unsafe.
How do you cope with the lights out when you're on your own, darling?
Well, when I used to finish work, I didn't used to finish till 1 in the morning. I used to have to normally run down the road because it's pitch black down there, or I'd ring my mum early in the morning just so I can have someone to talk to.
Women say the decision to turn the lights off to save money and the environment fails to take them into account.
I don't feel safe on the streets of Skegness at the moment with the lights like this.
Some feel vulnerable because they have no choice but to go out in the dark.
I have to be work for 6 o'clock in the mornings. I don't have lights on my bike because I just feel like, I'm putting myself out there to be attacked.
Others say it's causing social isolation.
I am virtually a prisoner. You can't go out because you can't come home in this.
It's a campaign that they say has so far fallen on deaf ears.
We're trying to make people aware that, we've got to do something about it. Lincolnshire County Council has let the community down massively.
Why should we have to wait for something serious to happen before they do something about it? Surely prevention's better than cure.
With doing this petition, there's a lot of anger because their voices are just not being heard. No one's listening to them.
Lincolnshire Council say women's safety is about much more than streetlights, that the police have found no impact on nighttime crime levels, and that they review the part night lighting scheme every year, and communities can pay to have their lights put back on. Away from the bright lights of the city, women want their safety considered too, not just addressing the physical threats they can face, but the smaller acts of violation that can take away their peace in the very place they've gone to find it.